helping life go right isn't a tagline so much as a completely new brand positioning. And with that, we need a new way to appeal to our customers. And one of the current ways to do this is through the Pocket Agent app. So we have a tremendous opportunity today to increase the historically low levels of awareness and engagement around the Pocket Agent app using the Benefits of Association loyalty program. So today, our mission is to present an exciting marketing strategy that will both launch the Benefits of Association and create a lot of initial momentum, but then also continue to allow merchants and customers to see the value of the Benefits of Association program.
And since we're tackling both low levels of engagement and low levels of awareness, we thought about creating a marketing strategy that has a two-phase strategy. The first phase would be with a launch so that we can create some general awareness and educate people of the program. But phase two would help us with the ongoing engagement once we already launched the app. So taking the first phase in the front, we wanted to come up with an idea where we can address thousands of people and still get them excited about the benefits of association. So we asked ourselves, what if in just one day we can create this amazing experience that has everybody seeing, thinking, and feeling about State Farm a little bit different, but also has thousands of people talking about the benefits of association. That's where we came up with FarmFest.
So FarmFest, in a nutshell, is a 12-hour festival that is a scavenger hunt that will send 18 to 35-year-olds, otherwise known as millennials, and young families across the city. But to kind of explain a little bit more about this, we actually have a video that we'd like to show you from the perspective of a customer.
This is Paul. He's a 22-year-old and a current State Farm customer. Today, him and three of his friends.
I'll just go ahead and try to do the YouTube version.
Sorry for the technical difficulties.
He's a 22-year-old and a current State Farm customer. Today, him and three of his friends are headed to the State Farm Farm Fest. Paul and his friends, along with hundreds of other teams, will meet at the local park early in the morning to get free breakfast, State Farm swag, and to kick off the day. To get started, Paul and his team members will download the Pocket Agent app. Then they will use the festival add-on feature in the Benefits of Association tab to keep track of challenges, leaderboards, and mystery contests. Paul and his team will then drive around and take part in a citywide scavenger hunt to rack up points. The challenges will take place in local and national merchant businesses that are presently partnered with State Farm via the Benefits of Association program. After a day of exciting activities, Paul and his crew will head back to the local park where it all started to enjoy a concert, food, drinks, and allow him to further interact with the merchant and local agents, along with the rest of the participants.
We'll head back to the presentation here. So as the video shows, and we wanted to make these challenges very interesting, and most of them will take place at the affiliated merchants locations, but we wanted to make this a little bit more fun. So we decided, and to further on explain the lifestyle services that State Farm has and the breadth of services that it offers, we thought about making the challenges belong to one of four categories that are relevant to State Farm: auto, home, life, and bank. So I'll give you a couple of examples. For auto, contestants might have a race car track at the local go-kart track. For home, we can partner with Habitat for Humanity to build a house. For life, we can have life fitness challenges at the local gym. And for bank, we can have an amazing, massive game of The Price is Right.
There are a few other key elements we want to highlight about this. First of all, this is a user education experience. Thousands of people will instantly be able to experience the benefits of association in a day, whether they are State Farm or not. And so we will be guaranteed to have a percentage of these customers scooped up and wanting to continue to use the benefits of association. But second of all, we also wondered, how can we allow people to experience this who aren't at the event? And we found out we could do this through social media, which I'm sure we've all heard of. And so by doing custom geofilters like this one on Snapchat, Facebook Live, or live tweeting, people will be able to experience the magic of FarmFest, whether they're sitting in front of a computer or at the event themselves. So finally, at the end of the day, whether they participated or were at home, everyone can gather for food, for a concert, but more importantly, to connect with State Farm agents and the Better State crew. And so here we're really fostering deep relationships with State Farm and allowing people to open doors where they can talk to people about insurance and figure out where State Farm can really fit into their lives.
So one of the major benefits that we saw about creating this festival is that we can use the same formula that we use at the launch and apply it to major State Farm market areas, so we can expand the impact of this launch event. The other thing is we were thinking of making this an annual event so we can have continuous engagement and continuous awareness and brand. So we want to take a step back in. Why did we choose festivals? And when we started doing our research, we found out some amazing statistics about how people have been using festivals to engage people. 32 million people in the United States have attend festivals year-round. And what's even more remarkable is that they're willing to travel, on average, 900 miles to get to these places. That's a little bit under the distance it takes to go from Florida to New York. And it's also a great way to trend on social media. On Coachella, which is a festival that happens in California every year, they receive 3.5 million tweets just on opening day alone. So we think this is a great way for us to engage people and build an overall awareness of the benefits of association initiative.
And we're not the only ones who have noticed this powerful trend. Many brands now are leveraging festivals as a way to connect with their customers. Take Cotopaxi, for example. They're an outdoor clothing company comparable to North Face or Patagonia, and they've created an event called the Questival, as you'll see behind me. And essentially, it's kind of themed around outdoors challenges, kind of scavenger hunt as well, and thousands attend. And so the results of it are astounding. First and foremost, free brand advertising. So as you can see behind me, we have taken posts from different millennial social media, and all of it have the Cotopaxi brand in it. Without millennials, consciously thinking this is a free advertisement, they just had such a great experience in the day they want to share about it. But secondly, it really ties customers to the brand. So I've had friends who have attended this festival for 3 years simply because they love the festival, but now they will exclusively shop at Cotopaxi because they understand the values of the company and they feel like they've invested in it and they're a part of it and they're a part of the bigger picture of Cotopaxi. So this is just one example of how using a festival to connect with people is incredibly effective. So kind of looking at the results of this, obviously we anticipate a large amount of initial downloads and buzz and excitement around the benefits of association. But first and foremost, we're anticipating very positive relations with the State Farm brand. So people will think of State Farm with these lifelong memories and with their friends. And when they think insurance, they'll think State Farm first.
And so with this launch event, we'll be able, like we said, to gain that initial momentum and awareness. But we want to build on that and make sure that the benefits of associations has continued success in engaging people. And that's what we move into phase 2 of our program, or our strategy, that is the ongoing value creation.
So as we mentioned earlier, there is currently low engagement with the Pocket Agent app. With only 5% of State Farm customers using it, only 30% of them use it regularly. And that's simply because they only have to use it when something bad happens, for example, a car accident. So we asked ourselves, how can we get more people on this app? And how can we make it enjoyable so they want to go back daily, a few times a day? And so in a word, how can we make it fun? So we decided to implement a marketing strategy called gamification.
So gamification, like we said, is a marketing strategy where you take game-like elements and apply it to an ongoing activity. Or in simpler terms, how can we make a game out of it? So right now, almost 40% of global 1,000 companies say that they're going to be using gamification to make business operations more engaging. But on the user side, we found out some amazing statistics. 79% of people will be more motivated to use an app if it has a game-like environment. And just by putting a leaderboard alone, that increases engagement by 89% of these types of apps.
Take Fitbit, for example. They've taken something as mundane and boring as exercise and have turned it into a whole experience. Like, how many times do people go on their Fitbit app a day? With 16 million users and an 85% weekly retention rate, people are constantly going back to this app. And it's simply because you can publicly log your exercise, see what other people are doing, and interact with them the whole time. So you feel like you're in a community, even though it's an individual activity. So kind of, listening to all this, you may be thinking, whoa, great ideas, kids, but how is this going to work? And the answer is very simple. So with using social media, we can leverage people's already created networks. So on Facebook, we already have friends. So now we just need to create a portal through the Pocket Agent app to do this. So simply when you log on to the Pocket Agent app, it will say, can we log in through Facebook? You'll say yes, which will be okay because it's integrated into all major apps nowadays. And then you'll be able to start gaming and interacting with all of your networks.
So some of the gamification aspects that we thought we wanted to include in the benefits of association is, like we said, we already established a network, so we wanted to include a leaderboard so you could check with your friends to see who has racked up more discounts and kind of compete that way. We can also have mystery deals like at 3 o'clock you'll find out about this deal. It's locked right now, but if you keep coming back, you'll find out about this amazing event. We can have medals and badges. So let's say you collect discounts in a specific category, like you go to restaurants and you get a lot of discounts, you can have the man versus food medal. Or one of the things that we actually found out that was pretty interesting, that one of the things that people love about gamification is keeping track of their progress. So we wanted to include a savings tracker so they can see how much have they set in discounts. And this is, we think, a great way to showcase the actual value of the benefits of association. Let's take millennials, for example. Historically in the insurance industry, millennials are the riskiest customers to insure, one of the riskiest customers to insure, and on average they have to pay an increase in premiums. Now, by simply following their current purchasing habits, they can offset some of that premium, and the savings tracker is a good gamification way to show them that value. Now, on the merchant standpoint, we want to be able to create a lot of, we want to provide these value to our customers, so we want to make sure we get a lot of merchants involved in the program as well. So we want to provide a lot of value. By co-branding or forming a relationship with State Farm, a mutual relationship, we'll be able to increase their foot traffic and increase their free advertisement as a part of the deal. But one of the things that we found that was a very good selling point for them is offer them customer analytics. And so customer analytics is when you take data from consumer behavior to make business decisions, like how are you going to do direct marketing, what type of products to have, or even how to carry out your customer relationship management. So although we know that legally we're not allowed to share our State Farm's information, we think that there's a lot of value in including these types of analytics in businesses so that they can make better decisions. Take, for instance, a local business shop, and we have Ben, who's the owner. And he hasn't had a lot of tracking besides his sales receipts. But by us offering the customer behavior analytics, he can have more insight on what type of products people favor, what type of products people like, and what key demographics take interest in his products and services, so he can make decisions about marketing, how much product to keep in inventory. And with limited capabilities, it will be a great way to expand and increase their business.
So all this sounds great on paper, but we wanted to see if there's actual value in everything that we just presented to you for the merchants. So we went out to local Phoenix businesses, we handed them this brochure, and we said, you know, what do you think of this? So just one testimony is behind me, but we had a really great reaction. And this particular restaurant called Chop Shop said, you know, essentially we don't have this marketing budget to get in, you know, foot traffic and all these things. So if we could have a partner that would be able to leverage our deals and do different things, then this partnership is essentially a no-brainer. So kind of looking at the big picture, this is a win-win-win. Customers are saving money, businesses are getting more businesses, and State Farm is able to develop and maintain customers like they never have before. Everyone has something to gain. So we believe that the Pocket Agent app has kind of been unsuccessful previously to this because it's been sold as kind of an add-on feature to State Farm. You know, this is an extension and here's a great app. But we believe by transforming the benefits of association within the Pocket Agent app, we can market this as 1/3 of the value proposition of State Farm. So in summary, we just showed you a phase 1 and phase 2 approach to the benefits of association program. The phase 1 is your launch, and that's where you'll create a great amount of momentum for the benefits of association program. In phase 2, we saw how we can continue to create value for customers and merchants via gamification, customer analytics, and other features that Jay mentioned.
And so throughout this presentation, there's been an overarching theme of how do we re-educate current customers and potential sponsors or potential customers about what the State Farm brand really does. I think in a highly cluttered industry, magnified by the digital age, people have been talking to their customers in the same way. And we believe that we not only have to have an evolution in the way we deal with our customers from what we've done, but we have to have a revolution of how we deal with our customers. Like we mentioned before, State Farm is here for the what ifs of life, but we're also here to help life go right. So thank you so much for your attention. Now we open the floor for some questions.
In regards to the Farm Fest, what ideas do you guys have about how to get that word out initially before it becomes a thing that everybody wants to follow?
Yeah, of course. So the way that Questable has done it with Code Epoxy is they independently market it as the Questable. And you don't really realize it's a brand association thing until you show up to the event. And I know that sounds almost a little backwards, but like I said, millennials are looking for experiences. So if we market Farm Fest like, hey, come out for a day, you'll create memories with your friends, you'll get awesome deals, and then a free concert at the end, then we'll have a huge rush of people, and we can be like, oh, by the way, this is State Farm, and these are all the values that we believe in. Like, you know, let's connect.
And then also to add on that, besides using social media, which is a fantastic way to reach a large amount of people, we have our merchants and we have our agents that we can leverage their reach to expand, because merchants would want to promote this. I'm one of the affiliates for this program or for this event that's coming up. Go in and they'll be able to use their own reach to expand or get the word out about this launch.
What do you think about, because that's a big part of your presentation, is that launch part of it. So how many would you do? How big of a market area would it have to be to justify doing
These events?
Requested, as you said?
Yeah, so we would expect a few thousand per major city that we would go to, and only growing from there.
Right. So, and we know that State Farm divides its territories by large market areas. So we were thinking about having one initially in all of the market areas and having it like a tour, pretty much kind of like the Color Run does it. And they have a few thousand people doing it. But as it gains momentum, people start hearing about this initiative, people will be willing to travel those 900 miles that we talked about just to join the event once we start doing that momentum. And it becomes like a cool thing. And if we do it every year, we can expect that to grow and become an even better, more established event.
And as you saw with Cotopaxi, millennials are free advertising. Like, they're going to post this everywhere, you know, that they'll have a good time. And so it only will just go through the states, and it will gain, you know, more traction, more momentum.
So are you seeing that you would go after merchants before, like 6 months prior to the launch, to get them to then advertise this event?
Definitely. So we would want to make sure that we at least we have some established merchants, and we pitch them the idea up front and see, hey, this would be a great event. Not only partnering with State Farm in the long run, but even just for that day, you'll have the amount of traffic that you will have for that just one day will generate you a lot of revenue, a lot of exposure, especially the local merchants that probably don't have as big as an extensive of a market reach that we do. We think that there's a lot of value in adding them beforehand.
Do you think that with the with having the leaderboard and back to your the app enhancements, the leaderboard, and what else do you have on there?
We can go back.
I can go back actually.
Yeah, the mystery deals, the
Yeah.
leaderboard,
So,
the savings.
okay.
Yep.
So those things, do you feel like those pieces will be enough to get all types of people to use this app every day?
Yeah, so it's definitely a starting point. And with all gamification, there kind of needs to be an outline to hook people, and I think this covers all the key elements of gamification. But obviously as time goes on, we can develop it further, so there are, you know, different things we can integrate it further with State Farm.
And as the research shows, like, gamification doesn't have to be super complex. It doesn't have all to be like Pokemon Go, where it's like an actual game the whole time. But like I said, just the leaderboard alone increases engagement like that. Think about Fitbit, like, that's a great example because it's just steps, right? And by taking so many steps, you get a medal, and the exercise itself is the same. Is the way you make it into a game that keeps people engaged. Competition alone within our friends, no matter what it is going to drive that engagement, and we want to compete and beat our friends with it. So we think that initially these are good elements to try to test and run, but who's to say that we can add any more gamification features to it as well in the long run?
Yeah.
All right,
All
thank
right,
you so much
thanks
for your
so much
time.
for having
Appreciate
us.
it.
Yeah.